Oh, man. Let's talk about it, man. Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, a.k.a. Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. I'm just chilling in the crib, enjoying my day off, back at y'all with some more boxing talk. On the road to 3K. We well into the 2,900 mark, about to hit that 3K mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. All right, y'all. We're going to have this conversation, man. You see what I'm saying? I'm just chilling, enjoying my day. You feel what I mean? Showing love to the Mexicans that are across the street building this building. You feel what I'm saying? Showing love to them. We just kicking it, just enjoying our regular day. And boom! I scroll through social media and I get this huge report, some breaking news from the Ring magazine, and it goes as follows. VADA has informed all relevant parties Wednesday that Jaime Munguia's A sample returned with an adverse analytical finding of exogenous origin of testosterone metabolites. I think that's what it says. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Following a urine sample on May 4th, when he defeated Bruno Saracen in the rematch, sources told the Ring. Munguia has 10 days to request analysis of his B sample for exogenous origin of testosterone metabolites. Munguia defeated Saracen in a super middleweight rematch after he was KO'd by the Frenchman in December in the Ring's upset of the year. Now, for those of y'all who are confused on what exogenous means and just stuff like that, exogenous means something that is produced outside of the body, from what I understand. So with the urine sample, they were able to obtain the A sample that Jaime Munguia gave them after the fight with Bruno Saracen. They were able to determine from the urine sample that the testosterone that was being, produced in Jaime Munguia's body was being produced by an outside source. It wasn't being produced naturally within the body. So from there, they're able to consider it an adverse finding, pretty much saying that Jaime Munguia is fucking getting testosterone from an external source. Nonetheless, he's fucking cheating. You see what I'm saying? So there we go. We add another motherfucking PED user to the list. Shout out to VADA for keeping us informed with the drug cheats that are constantly getting caught. They're doing a great job with doing so. You feel what I'm saying? And we just got to address the elephant in the room. You feel what I'm saying? This is yet another fighter under Team Canelo who has tested positive for performance enhancement drugs. I'm not going to say too much, but where there's smoke, there's fire, ladies and gentlemen. So that happens to be Julio Cesar Martinez, Canelo Alvarez, Oscar Valdez, Luis Neri, Ryan Garcia, after he, left Team Canelo, test positive for that shit. And now we added Jaime Munguia to the list. I don't know if I missed anybody, people, but that is more than enough examples. We got 6 fucking people in one camp that are tested positive for performance enhancement drugs. Now, could that be a coincidence? Possibly. But I'm not somebody that really believes in coincidences too much, especially if it happens 6 fucking times. Y'all niggas done failed as many drug tests as fucking Michael Jordan has won rings. Absolutely insane. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but like I said, wherever there's smoke, there's fire. Now, looking at Jaime Munguia's situation, it happened at a terrible time too, because now we could put 2 and 2 together and make assumptions on what happened. So I'm gonna give you guys my assumption on what happened. I don't know it for a fact, but let's talk about it. So Jaime Munguia, obviously, just like the Ring magazine has said, got knocked out by Bruno Saracen in the upset of the year last year, right? Got put to sleep. He didn't get put to sleep. He got put out one punch. He got up. He didn't respond well. They waved the fight off, right? Since then, Jaime Munguia, I think he went with Team Canelo after his loss to Bruno Saracen. You know what I mean? Because I guess he didn't believe in his corner. He didn't believe his trainers or whatever the case is. So he went to go look elsewhere in order to avenge his loss, right? So I'm assuming he had VADA tested for the first fight. He came out clean. So it looks like he went over to Canelo Alvarez's camp, got some training in, you know what I mean? Found some little substances that can improve or enhance his abilities to go in there with Bruno Saracen because he probably was questioning his ability to take a shot. He was questioning his strength. He was questioning his durability. And he goes over there, start fucking with the juice to give himself that confidence necessary to go into this rematch. And he defeats Bruno Saracen. Cool. That's the assumption that I'm making. You feel what I'm saying? And it's absolutely disgusting in all honesty. PED usage has no fucking room in the sport at all. That needs to be completely removed from the sport of boxing. And I hope that VADA continues to do their job in catching these drug cheats one by one. You see what I'm saying? I've been in the sport of boxing for a very long time. I pretty much grew up in the sport. And I've seen the effects of how brutal the sport of boxing is. People that I don't watch come up, you know, they still young and they having trouble formulating sentences. I've seen, they say on average 13 people are unalived because of the sport of boxing. You feel what I'm saying? So when I see people blatantly using performance enhancement drugs in order to get an edge over their opponent, is absolutely disgusting. The sport of boxing is already as dangerous as can be, one of the most dangerous sports in the world. So the fact that you're even looking to enhance your already dangerous abilities in order to hurt somebody is absolutely disgusting. You feel what I'm saying? So I've seen that Bruno Saracen had actually put out a comment as well, and I wanted to, because you know he is the victim in this situation, and I hope they overturn this fight as soon as possible. And we're going to get into how we really need to start punishing these PED users. We need to talk about solutions, people, because at this point, it's starting to become more and more obvious that fighters are being okay with using PEDs because they understand that there's very little punishment and very little fines involved with testing positive. You get banned for a year, they fine you a couple thousand when you're making millions, and you know, they let you resume to the sport. You see what I'm saying? Bruno Saracen goes out with a statement. His reaction to Jaime Munguia's VADA test returning as an adverse finding. He says, "I'm shocked by the news that Jaime Munguia tested positive for a banned substance. There's no place in boxing for cheating. The sport is dangerous enough already." So exactly what I just said. "I went to Mexico and knocked out Munguia fair and square in December and was gracious enough to give him a rematch in May. He knew he could not beat me on a level playing field. I trust that these results will be overturned immediately." Those are the comments from Bruno Saracen. You feel what I'm saying? And I think everything that he said was extremely valid. You feel what I'm saying? He is the victim in this situation. I know y'all hate to hear that, especially when the suspect is somebody you tend to like or you tend to be biased towards. But everything he said was on point. There's no space in the sport of boxing for PED usage. He did beat Jaime Munguia fair and square, so he's feeling slighted. He's feeling cheated. Like, yo, I graciously gave you a rematch. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't even have to. And you chose to cheat in a rematch against me because you knew that you couldn't beat me if you were clean. So, Bruno Saracen, shout out to him for, you know, conducting himself like a true professional, not using PEDs whatsoever, and, you know, going about it in a way that a professional athlete is supposed to go about it, in a clean manner, right? So, cool. The sixth person, from what I understand, tested positive in Canelo Alvarez's camp, or at least been involved with Canelo Alvarez's camp previously. So let's talk about how we could really fix this shit with PED users, or at least significantly change the percentage of fighters using PEDs, man. Because, you know, the Haney's done gave y'all a solution as to how, you know, we could go about PED users, but y'all didn't want to hear it because it was a fighter that y'all didn't like. And y'all was over here trying to save, you know, Ryan Garcia a little fruity ass. So this is how we could go about it. If you want to make any significant change in the sport of boxing, in terms of PED usage, the only way you're going to get these guys to really follow rules is to tap their pockets. It's really as simple as that. My personal opinion, and I know these niggas won't never had a balls to do what the fuck that what I say, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to fuck up their money, you know what I mean? They okay with people, you know, testing positive for PEDs at the end of the day. You could tell in the slap on the wrist they be receiving after testing positive, because at the end of the day, they're not the ones getting punched, so they could care less. It's a lot of selfishness and corruption that's in the sport of boxing, from what y'all know, right? It's cool. They need fighters who test positive in their fights need to get their purses revoked. That's right, people. If Jaime Munguia got paid 500,000, 750,000, 1 million, 2 million, whatever he got for Bruno Saracen, 100% of that purse should be handed over and given to his opponent. Definitely should be given to his opponent. You know why? Because at the end of the day, if you in there using performance enhancement drugs when you know you're not supposed to, you do not deserve that paycheck that you get, my brother. And I understand you got to pay coaches, you got to pay trainers, you got to pay managers, you got to pay promoters, advisors, whatever the case is. That needs to come out of your pocket as a result, bro. That needs to come out of your pockets. Even if that shit overdraws your account or you in debt, whatever the case is, you blatantly decided or you were irresponsible of how the way you was moving in training camp and had dope in your system. That should be something that should fall on you at the end of the day. You should be the one suffering as a result of this. Not the one not the victim. You should be suffering for the cause of a positive test being found in your urine samples. You feel what I'm saying? We need to hit these dudes' pockets. Another thing, these suspensions are too fucking light, bro. A 1-year suspension, bro, really? Like with Ryan Garcia. I think they gave Canelo Alvarez 6 months, or probably they gave him a year. Bro, these dudes only fight once or twice a year any fucking way. So you're not really reprimanding these guys at all. You're not really giving them no type of punishments. They be like, oh, okay, I wasn't gonna fight till next year anyway. I probably just gonna have to wait a couple more months, but I'll be back. And Ryan Garcia was able to come back into the sport of boxing. Mind you, he lost, you know what I mean, because the PEDs wasn't in his system, in my opinion. But it wasn't that long of a layoff, because like I said, these big money, higher level fighters, they're only fighting once, twice, maybe 3 times a year at the most. You feel what I'm saying? So we need to start making these bans longer. I'm talking 2-3 years max. First time abusers, if they're not able to prove their innocence, or if their B sample don't come back, clean, they need to have I'm gonna say 3 years. 3-year ban for being a PED user. That's when they'll really feel the effects of their ring rust. 1 year is not enough. They'll be able to bounce back within one fight. 3 years is going to take them a little while to get back in the rhythm in the sport, and that's what they deserve for being fucking drug cheats. So listen, man, Jaime Munguia test positive. Whoop de fucking do. That's the 6th fighter that I've been able to count on Canelo Alvarez's stable that has tested positive, including Canelo Alvarez. Cool. Bruno Saracen, he said what he had to say about it. He was absolutely in the right. We need to really put the hammer down on these fucking drug cheats, yo. Enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? And if the commission doesn't want to do it, Bruno Saracen should take legal action. He should really take Jaime Munguia to court, say that he fought he did not fight on fair grounds. You know what I'm saying? And he tried to hurt that man. You see what I'm saying? The sport is already as dangerous as it could be. Now you getting juiced up, that goes against the rules to take me away from me and my family and possibly change my life for the worse. No, you're going to have to fork that over. So we need to start really taking these fucking purses from these fighters. And if they in debt, it is what it is. They got to pay who they got to pay. They're going to have to find a way. Go hit Uber or something, nigga. And then we need to give these dudes longer suspensions. That's the only way we're going to be able to see some significant change in the sport of boxing in terms of PED usage. Because now it's starting to come out that these higher level guys, these world champion or top contenders, now they feeling the need to test positive. And if they test positive, it's like, oh, all right, cool. It is what it is. I just get a year ban. I only got to pay, 50,000, 100,000. I made 2 million, 100,000 ain't nothing. And then they can just go about their career like nothing happened. We need to make these dudes paranoid with every move they make, with every substance they put in their body. They need to be paranoid to the point where, all right, what's in this? We need to make these guys more careful about what they do, because at this point, they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want. But that's my take on the whole situation. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. I'll be on live to continue speaking about this topic later on tonight, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Get with me, y'all. This is Mazuma TV. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.